let's say you were a young boy, right, who had an older sister. And that older sister one day brought home her friend. And that friend, upon you seeing her for the first time, was one of the most gorgeous and most beautiful people you've ever seen, right? Granted, you were a young boy at the time, and she was in middle school, ahead of you by 3 years, right? Well, guys, that's what the manga that we're going to be covering today in today's manga look is all about, right? It is by an author called Takase Waka, right? And it started off as a one-shot, later becoming serialized, right? That one-shot being called Ane no Yujin, right? Then the title shifting to Ane no Tomodachi once it was serialized after the success of the one-shot. Honestly, this show slash not show, this manga is actually pretty good in terms of like romance. It's a rom-com that takes place with slightly older people, right? We have like high school boy who falls in love with like college age girl. I think I could be around, if I recall, the main protagonist named Asahi is around 16 or 17 years old, while the friend, his sister's older friend, is around 20 to 19 years old, right? So there's like a 3-year gap between the two, and this is like a really cute manga about like one's feelings and love for someone from a young age, and how hard it is for these two to express their love. It's honestly really cute. So yeah, honestly, enough of this fucking rambling. Let's jump right in to chapter 1. Now, to begin, the first chapter of this manga is titled Attractiveness is Justice, which is a really weird name, but considering our protagonist has the same feelings about attractiveness that his sister is, he believes that attractive people are like the world's treasure, right? So we start off with our protagonist looking down at his phone, basically at a game about idol boys, right? I guess because he's a big fan of male idols, because he follows a big male band like his sister, right? And so while he's looking at this game, he's complaining about how the graphics are terrible, even though when you look at the art, that's not the case. But I guess up to our boy standards, it would be, right? So as he's walking toward his apartment, right, he's thinking to himself, they never betray my expectations. Which means, as he's slowly opening the door, right, that was unlocked, because like it's normally locked, but he knows that when that door is unlocked, there's someone on the other side. So as he opens the door, someone screams, someone says, like as in, well, like, oh, there you are, right? In the next panel, we get to see who that person was, and that is our girl, Hinako, right? We're doing yoga in the living room in pretty casual wear. Now, Hinako is, like I said before, our boy's crush, and a gyaru, of course, because like every fucking rom-com has to have a gyaru. Upon looking at this panel, you guys will notice one thing. She looks very reminiscent of our girl, Mari, I think her name was, from Dress Up Darling. The main female love interest of that show. They have very similar aspects. My guess is because Takase Waka probably worked under the author of My Dress Up Darling, and he probably picked up on some similar artistic styles. Right, so she welcomes him back, right, while stretching, followed by, in the next panel, him responding, I'm back. Kind of in like a very dejected look. You know how when you're shocked about something, his glasses are kind of crooked. He says, what are you doing? And she says in such a flowery tone, yoga. She then like shifts the conversation because she's so, I guess, ADHD brain. She's like, you brought ice cream. And he responds, yeah, want some? And she, again, in her flowery tone, while skipping and stepping, she's like, I do. She takes the soda flavored one, I guess, to emphasize her very childish taste, despite her age, right? So as he's walking toward the kitchen, right, and gonna put his stuff down, he calls her name. He says, "Hey, Hee-chan." She turns back and answers, "What?" as she's taking a bite of the popsicle. Now the artwork here is phenomenal. It's very beautiful, really well drawn, and very goddamn expressive. In the next panel, we get to see her fully, her like back view as she's turned around and holding her hair back while holding the popsicle in her mouth. Our boy Asahi says, "Don't you think you should dress a bit more properly? Like, technically, this isn't your place." Which is a fair, ask, because like, yeah, most people wouldn't want someone dressed up pretty casually. I'm gonna say casually, because like it's what the author's trying to imply here is that she's dressed up very suggestively. I don't think so. I think it's just casual, where she's just very beautiful, so it comes off as suggestive. She looks at him in like a really surprised look, and as she's chomping, and she says, "Why all of a sudden? I've been dressed here all the time." And he hits us with the thing that's surprising to me. He's like, "And I've been telling you all this time." So every single time she comes over, he's been telling her, "Hey, cover, like, wear something more appropriate." Even though what I think she's wearing is pretty appropriate. I think our boy is just, a high school boy and struggles with his own hormones, right? In the next panel, she quickly jumps up from the couch, grabs his arm, pulls him in, wraps her hand around the nape of his neck, and we get to see like a really close-up image of her face, and she says, "What? You getting conscious of me, Akun?" Which embarrasses our boy, which is the next artwork underneath. He's like surprised, he's shocked because he doesn't know how to respond because she attacked him without him noticing. So after that, our boy decides to give the author, not our boy, well, our boy's narrating, decides to give us a bit more backstory to this whole situation, right? He basically says that he has a sister who's 3 years older than him. Like I told you guys in the beginning, right? She has high standards for beauty and likes tidy and beautiful things. So ever since she was little, her sense of aesthetics has been nothing short of amazing. As we see like little like drawings of his sister buying fancy clothes, building a sandcastle that's really nice and pretty, as while keeping herself clean, which our boy is reacting to by reading a comic and surprising foresight. So he then says that's why when she went to middle school, we get a little rectangular panel of her calling out Asahi as he's coming home from elementary school, right? Because they're 3 years older than him. He's probably in 5th or 6th grade, if I'm gonna be specific. I don't know, but we know the age gap is 3 years, right? So in the next panel, his older sister says, "Say hello to my friend." We see our boy, a young Asahi, eyes sort of beam upon looking at the friend that his sister said. Where he says, when he says, "and brought her friend for the first time." The friend calls out his name, Asahi-kun. And as soon as he saw her, which is why he had that gleam in her eyes, he said, "Oh, I thought, of course she'd pass." Because his sister has this weird, thing of beauty, but she's only like into pretty girls. She's not into pretty guys. Well, she likes pretty guys, but as you guys continue reading the story, you get the sense that the sister leans more one way than the other. Which is why you guys should read it. You'll understand when you guys read further in the story, further beyond this chapter, right? She introduces herself as Hinako and says, "Nice to meet you." like I said at the beginning when we first saw her, right? We then get cut back to the situation where she's holding him in the nape, and he's screaming internally as he says, "Such a good-looking face," and he goes on like this tirade about how she's all natural, curly, has big pupils, and that doesn't need contact lenses. And then he says, "Yes, truly the beauty sculpted by the gods themselves," as he puts his hand together and says, "Amen," because god damn it, there's someone that beautiful can only be crafted by the gods in his mind. So she like calls out to him saying, "Akun." So he responds, "I have the same taste as my sister, you see." He says that out loud. He was probably thinking that to himself, but he just says that without realizing it. And so she's like, "Suko," the name of his older sister, and she says, "Huh, what are you on about?" And he's like, "Nah, it's nothing," as he's slipping up her hoodie to cover her cleavage that was sort of like showing, not really showing, but like kind of like, you know, because she's wearing like a blouse in the artwork, which you'll see with the panels that I'm going to be putting in the book. So she says, "Let's play Mario Kart, Akun." And he responds like, "I have tests coming up soon." She's like, "No, man, it's just for 2 hours. 2 hours, guys. 2 hours. Pretty please." She's basically begging him, and he's like, "So you want to play Mario Kart for 2 whole hours? What are you, a kid?" I mean, if a girl of any kind asks some of you guys in the comments, or maybe even a pretty guy, or a pretty non-binary person, right? Told you guys, some of you guys would fold like an omelet. Let's be honest, like a lawn chair. So we jump to him playing video games, and he's like, "It's already late. No wonder I was getting hungry." As she responds. So he says, "Hey, I'll fix something up for us." And she asks her if she wants to eat, and she says, "Yeah." So in the next panel, we cut to our boy in the kitchen, beginning the food prep and cooking. Our girl Hinako asks, "What you gonna make?" He says that he's in the mood for udon, but he wants her to say that she chose it, and so she asks like, "Why?" So he responds like, if I make whatever I want, Nichan will get mad because she'll let it go. We'll get mad, but she'll let it go if we say you wanted it. And she's like, "Ah, I got it," because she understands who Suko is as an individual. So he's basically saying that his sister will murder him if he does not consider what Hinako wants for to eat, and he's only considering himself. So he's like, "Hey, say you wanted it, so I don't get in trouble." And she's like, "Okay." So as Hinako's looking at her phone, our boy remembers, Suko said Suko said she'll be eating out tonight, because she's looking at a message, as he thinks to himself, "Speak of the devil," and reacting with a very nonchalant "what?" Which is a weird response to your sister eating out, but I guess that's it. So then we get a nice little panel of the food, chilled udon that he made with lots of toppings. It's very well drawn art, and he says that he's gonna add some eggplant because he knows that his sister's not here. I guess she doesn't like them. And our girl Hinako responds in jubilation, saying, "Hey, looks delicious." We then jump to the next panel where they're eating like in the coffee table of the living room. I'm guessing they don't have a kitchen table to eat at, or a dinner table. So he asks her, "Hey, that reminds me, Nichan has been super busy with college this year, but you don't seem to be busy, Hichan." So he's like wondering, "Well, my sister's always busy. Why aren't you?" And she says, "That's because I'm in liberal arts. Suko just has it rough because she's in sciences." He's like, So he thinks to himself, 2 years ago, his sister started living on her own after college and dragged him along with her. So now that they live together, she dragged him along, and as the panel says, is because she needs someone to help clean and organize the house, because she's not going to be home all the damn time. And as we know, she's a neat freak, and so she knows that her brother's pretty clean and organized. So she's like, "Come with me so I don't have to worry about my house being a pigsty." So he then says, but because Hinako, or Hichan, got into the same college as his sister, she started to come over a lot, right? And he's starting to realize that and then he said, and that's how he started. He's basically explaining to the audience that's how he started to spend more time with Hinako and his sister, which is something that he did not do prior, is what he's telling us, right? Which is interesting. Jumping in, we continue. He's eating his food, and he takes a nice look at her side view as she's eating, and she says even her side view is perfect, which is true. Like, she's a very beautiful girl. He notices that she's eating her hair, so he's like, hey, Hee-chan, you're eating your hair. And she's like, what? She doesn't notice that she's eating her hair. So he offers, hey, do you want me to tie your hair up so it doesn't get in the way of the food? Which is a very nice thing of him to ask. It then continues with her giving him one of the elastic hairbands, and he's like, so as he's beginning to tie her hair, because he's behind her, he can see her cleavage from like the top angle, and so he looks away out of respect, and he basically says that she's so exposed, and he does it pretty quickly, and so he kneels down and says, there, it's done, thanks, as he like takes a large sigh of relief, because he's like, god damn it, I almost lost myself in the process of tying this girl's hair. Hilarious. But before our Brody can rest, she hits him with a double critical attack, bro. She's like, hey, you'd make a great husband, Akun. She laughs and says that Brody can't catch a break, bro. Again, like I said before, if any of you had anybody you were this interested in say that shit to you, y'all would fold like a lawn chair. To be fair, I would too. If a beautiful girl said that to me, I'd be like, thank you, I appreciate it. As I'm not good at taking compliments, so I understand how you would feel. So following up in the next panel, he says, now consider for a moment, as he's washing the dishes, would there be any healthy boy who wouldn't fall for her when she approaches you with such a cute smile and so defenseless? He's like, definitely not a single one. He says there's no man on this planet that wouldn't fall to that girl within a few seconds, which is fair. But I think the reason why she's so defenseless around him is because she trusts him a lot. I don't think our boy realizes that, but maybe in the future he'll understand, right? So he tells himself, don't be fooled me, because he doesn't want to get his hopes up in thinking that that he has a chance with her. So as he's thinking that, she says, I'm gonna go take a shower, and he tells her, go ahead, which shocks her after hearing him say go ahead, and he hears her slide behind him, which shocks him. In the next panel, we see her holding him by the shirt collar, standing on his side. You guys will see when you guys see the panel, and she whispers in his ear, no peeping, all right? Like, again, the author's trying to draw her as beautiful as he can in every panel to further emphasize damn Takase Waka trying to seduce all the readers with her, dude, and he's doing a good job at it. So he freaks out and tells, as his heart is beating, he says it's too much, after she tells him she got him, and laughing away as a joke. He's like, god damn it, this girl's getting me. So he goes on meditation mode, and he tells himself to calm himself as he's meditating and seeking tranquility, and not to get any bad ideas, no matter how obvious it seems that she's trying to, that it's a joke, even though deep down he doesn't want it to be a joke. Deep down he wants her to see him that way, right? And so we get a soliloquy from him in the next panel saying it's not that telling us she doesn't think she likes him that way. He says, if she liked me that way even just a little and saw me as a guy, we know what he means. He's basically saying that if only she did. And so he says she wouldn't make me wash her underwear, because he not only washes his sister's underwear, he washes Hinako's underwear too. He says having to separate underwear of my sister and her friend, who is my first crush, is really hard on our boy. Which is like, most dudes, if a dude was in that situation, who's not a pervert, if you're don't wash women's clothes if you're a pervert, would be like uncomfortable doing that. So fair. So then we jump ahead in like further in time. Our boy again is once again heading toward the entrance of his apartment complex, and he happens to run into the goddess herself, Hinako. And she screams as soon as she sees him. Her eyes begin to sparkle because she's happy to see him. She's like, Akun, and so he responds, "Oh, no." She says, "Oh, it's been a while since I've seen you outside, outside your loungewear." Oh. He says that to her because she's wearing pretty normal street clothes, and she says, really? How do I look? Cute?" She's basically baiting this man, bro. She's doing this on purpose. I think she likes him too. The author's also dropping little nuggets of like, oh, she likes him, because there's no way a woman would be this teasy without there being some further ulterior motives, or like getting bored of it at some point. You know what I mean? But it seems like she does it all the time. He responds bluntly in the next panel, 100 million poise, and she's like, "What?" Okay, as she laughs. He looks pretty. The panel says that he looks sharp saying it. So as they're, I guess, walking inside the apartment complex, he asks her if she's coming back from her part-time work, and she says, "Yup." So she asks him, "Today was the last day of your exams, right? How did it go?" And he responds with, "Average, I guess." Which to her means that he did a good job, so she hugs him from behind and asks him to help her study one of these days. And he turns around and says, "Me? No way. And she says, "Why? You have good grades, though." And he says, so she explains that I only barely managed that because Sugo... No, so he says, why you have good grades? Why would she want him to teach her? My bad, I misread. I misremembered. Okay, back to what I was saying. So she goes on the soliloquy explaining that that she only has good grades because his sister Suko forced her through Spartan hellish training to be able to get into the same college. So she learned quite a bit, and our boy reacts with the same fear that he always reacts when hearing about his sister. He's like, "Oh, that's scary. I don't want to be a part of that." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to remember it either. It was horrible." So as we continue. They're sitting on the couch in the apartment and looking at the TV, and she says, "Hey, isn't that the group you and Suko like, the K-pop one?" And he says, "The Mevius," which is the name of the band. And when I mentioned at the beginning of the chapter, he likes K-pop, and he likes good-looking people, so he's into this male idol band. She responds with, "He's so cute," and he responds weirdly because you don't see why. So he's like, Hanako-san or Hinako. They mistranslated it here. And she's like, He tells her, "Aren't you a little too close?" So this whole time while they were having this conversation about the Mevius band, she's shoulder to shoulder with our boy eating potato chips while holding a nice little plushie, and she says, "Am I?" as if like she didn't notice, and so we get a nice little black speech bubble of our boy with black dots and saying no thanks after she offered him potatoes, because he's like, "Oh my god, this girl doesn't even know what she's doing. She keeps doing this to me. I don't understand why." Which again, lucky bastard. So in the next panel, he begins to stand up because he feels uncomfortable about being that close, and he wants to move to give her some more space because he feels like he shouldn't be this close. She grabs him from the short shirt and says nope, and he says, "Oh, okay." So he tells himself to calm down, that he's just a pet dog in her eyes. He's just a dog. So he sits back down, and he tells her, Nichan says that she's gonna be eat out again. So he says, "Hey, I'm gonna fix something up for us." And she's like, "Oh, all right," giving him the thumbs up. So in the next panel, we jump to him washing his hands as he's prepping the food, and he notices that Hinako has this very sad, somber look on her face while she's looking at the TV on the couch. So after he's finished cooking, he we get a plate of the hamburg steak that he made, and Hinako reacting with gleeful glee as she smiles upon seeing it, and he tells her, "Here you go." As he's putting the plate down, she yells, "Yay, it's hamburg steak," and says, "Itadakimasu," which is the bona fide same thing that it's said in every Japanese anime ever. We know why they say it. She's thanking the gods for the food. So as she's eating, we get a nice little photo of her gleefully chewing the food, saying "so good," and responding with things like, "and it's so full of stuff I like." And he tells her, "Yeah, and I know it is." He said, "I mean, you had a bad day today, right?" And she's like, "Eh? Did it show on my face?" And he's like, "Not really. Just kind of looked like it to me." So in the next panel, she responds with, "Hey man, there's no way. That's so uncool of me. But I'm totally fine, really." She's trying to dodge the question because she doesn't want to talk about it, and thinks she's uncool for making it noticeable. And he's like, "Hey, there it is. That's what I'm talking about. That whenever you say I'm totally fine," he says, "there it is. That I'm totally fine of yours." He says, "I know you're not actually fine whenever you say that." He knows her this well. By the way, he's been around this girl for so long, he picked up on her mannerisms and knows when she's okay and when she's not okay. So she looks down very shyly, and she says, and he's like, ready to listen. She says, "I like myself." And he's like, "Huh? That's a good thing, I guess, but sometimes I think to myself, could I say the same thing if I didn't look like this? Maybe then people wouldn't misunderstand me, and I'd be able to get along with the other girls, and stuff," right? She's giving him this really sad soliloquy, and he's like, "Yeah, my fault. This is dumb of me. I didn't mean to say I'm such a blabbermouth." She says that to him, and he grabs her from the shoulders after hearing that, right? So in the next panel, he brings her in close, and he's kneeling down like a father, holding her from the shoulders. It says, "Hichan, beauty is ultimate justice," in the most serious face you can have, right? And she's like, "Justice? What?" And he's like, that tiny face with all the proportions. He goes on this soliloquy about how beautiful it is, and people wouldn't understand, and that those who make fun of her for her beauty are fools, and that you're not the one at fault, Hichan, because they don't understand her beauty. And she's like, "What?" As he's talking fast, right? So in the next panel, he's still kneeling down next to her. He says, "If it hurts you, you should get angry." But then he admits, that's the good point of yours, that you don't get angry, right? So he says, "So in that case, I'll get angry in your place for you." Which, upon hearing that in the next panel, we see her react to that saying, and she, it hit her. It struck a chord with when he said that, and he was like, he tells her, "I was thinking during your third year of high school, if you remember how someone in cram school grabbed you and accused you of hitting on her boyfriend." And he tells her, "Yeah, after I heard that, I prayed for her to fail her exams at a shrine." This dude is petty as fuck. And he's like, "Remember that guy that got angry at you because you rejected him? Well, I prayed that he would stub his pinky toe." Again, diabolical prayers. This guy was praying for these people's downfalls because "You hurt her, well, motherfuckers, I'm gonna pray for your downfall." So as he says, don't know if it actually had any effect, with a very cute smile, at least to her, and she jumps on him and hugs her, and hugs him, and he screams, and he's like, "Here he comes. I'm getting treated like a dog again." With his glasses kind of fucked up as she's holding him from above. She leans in and kisses him in the cheek in the next panel, which shocks our boy. He's like dead ass. The way I put my glasses down, he was like that. And so he pulls her away, and he's like, hey, wait, that's definitely going too far. He's like, "I know, I was trying to make you feel better, but you didn't need to kiss me. That wasn't necessary." Because he's a gentleman. He's like, "Hey, you don't have to kiss me for me being nice or me caring." So we then get a panel of her reacting to what she did, because she did that unconsciously. And her face is all blushed and red, because she didn't realize what she did. Which this was one of the biggest factors and like points of evidence that she does like this boy more than she let on, right? He's shocked upon seeing that, and he's like, "Hey, no, you got it wrong. I just got a little happy, you know. Just forget about it." She's like, "You know what I mean?" She's like, "I didn't mean it that way. I don't want to mislead you. And that's all I really meant. I didn't mean it anything." So as she's saying all of that, he sees her kissing a dog, so he's thinking that she means, "Oh, I'm a dog," and she's like, "Okay," in like a very dejected tone, and he gets up and he says, "All right, want some strawberries?" That he remembered he bought some as he's walking away, and she reacts like, "Huh?" She gets angry that he didn't react to all of that, and that he kind of just like stonewalled it. and as his sister Suko's coming home, she hears Hinako yell, "Akun, you idiot! Why aren't you embarrassed about this?" Because she doesn't want to be the only one embarrassed about the situation. But our boy Asahi has a heart of stone. He's stonewalled the fuck out of that whole situation. He's like, "I'm not gonna let you catch me slacking, girl. I like you, but I'm not gonna let you know that." So Suko responds, "What did you do to my dear Hina?" in like a very cute tone. And as Hinako's crying, "Oh, wow, Suko," and he's like, "Hey, I did Nichan. I don't know what I did." He's like, "I didn't do anything." He knows what he did, but kind of doesn't at the same time. He doesn't know that she's upset with him because he didn't react to the kiss in the way she wanted him to react, or like have the same level of embarrassment. He's just like, "Hey, it's another typical Tuesday," because to him, her kissing him on the cheek was no different than her kissing a doggo. He didn't see it as anything more than that, which kind of made her mad. And so that's how that chapter ends. And honestly, it's a really good story, bro. Like, just simply off of the first chapter, you get a really good sense on how this dynamic between the two is gonna go. How she's teasing him a lot of the time because she does like him, but he doesn't know it, so he kind of like dodges all of it. But whenever she does ask him, he like gets really serious and answers realistically. Like he answers seriously whenever it comes to, like, I think later on in the manga she says, "Do you think I look good?" and he's like, "You look beautiful," right? Which made her embarrassed, and he didn't feel he was stonewalled the whole time, because to him it was obvious, like he was stating an obvious fact, because she's beautiful. This is a fun story. Currently total there's like I think about 26 chapters that have been translated to English. As always, those links to in the description so you guys can read it online will be there, to the one shot and the serialization, because the one shot has the first 2 chapters and the other one doesn't. The other one has the rest, as well as links to Bookwalker and the Amazon and ebook Japan. Bookwalker and Japan and Amazon Japan, so you guys can buy the Japanese version. There's currently isn't an English translation of the volumes, but there are Japanese ones. So those of you who like collecting manga and the Japanese versions, those will be there for you, so you guys can support the author that way, even though you can't read it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, guys, to go support your author, the author. It's always important. Me doing these type of videos is sort of to just get more like traffic to these stories and help the author show that there's like a bigger audience, so that it can continue to be serialized and hopefully get an anime, because like if this gets an anime, I will cry. So yep, thank you guys so much, and as always, adios.